Too many military personnel per square kilometer. It's definitely a sign of trouble. Guns nearby. A large cluster of security robots detected. I'd recommend keeping out of their sight. Some kind of military spacesuit prototype with a jet booster. I wonder if it's possible to replicate this system without the risk of catching fire like he did.
This is working autonomous oxygen station.
Wow, that's a whole kernel. Or perhaps he's not quite whole. In any case, a government suit of such a level should be equipped with a good oxygen cylinder. Unfortunately, the cylinder was badly damaged. When assembling a new suit, don't forget to transfer my chest-mounted module to it. You can't fully use your spacesuit without a personal module. The linguistic analysis of the large inscription on the wall shows that it's module number 51. The government transported some military developments in it.
Access to civilians is prohibited.
It's unlikely that you can find another way into the military module. You must bypass this super-intelligent AI, which can let only a soldier pass, I presume.
What's with your face, Private? Wise guy, eh? 2 extra duties. General, welcome, sir. Yes, sir. General, sir.
It's worth noting, the robot gatekeepers can't be in the service, and therefore their involvement in the ranks of the armed forces is extremely improbable. Looks like some alcohol got spilled over at circuits in the trash. If you try to transfer some of the technological features of this ancient device to modern broken reel-to-reel tape recorders, you might get a working prototype, or an explosion. There's nothing interesting inside, except for the drawer runners. A detailed plan of the service module. It's a decoder. Since I've violated all security protocols anyway, that's weird. This looks more like some virtual communication between underdeveloped human beings, but it's even more incoherent and lacks logic. Why would coffins need such information? There's no data on the design of fluorescent lamps. To be more exact, there wasn't any. That's a good door. I told you you could handle it easily. A detailed plan of the transport module. It seems that you've successfully completed the work for this Lisinski by destroying the spacesuits together with the captain's bridge. However, this blueprint can help you create a similar one. You naturally remember that my intelligence and charm, along with the entire chest-mounted block, must be transferred to a new spacesuit for it to function fully, don't you? It seems that the stand for the suit is broken, although it won't be difficult to fix it. new suit won't reduce the core's activity, but will increase your radiation resistance, which is equivalent. Almost. Of all the potential of the cedar spacesuit, you managed to use only its improved material for the lining, but even this is enough to increase your chances of survival. Multiple electromagnetic anomalies detected. There may be some breakdowns in the work of complex equipment in this area, therefore the Breathedge company assumes no responsibility for the behavior and performance of the funerary spacesuit, although I doubt I may have any problems. Cores. This is an energy core of the Breathedge company. I don't know who transported such technologies on the liner and for what purpose it was done, but now it's easy to explain the presence of electromagnetic anomalies. By the way, I don't recommend turning off the active core. It will most likely lead to unpleasant consequences. All these coffins belong to the batch from the year 2020. This was the golden age of the Breathedge Funeral Agency, but it's unclear what these old coffins are doing among this debris. This debris clearly doesn't belong to the liner, as it is made with outdated technologies. If you look at the spaceship's debris in the distance, we can assume that the liner didn't just explode, but it initially crashed into an unknown spherical structure, the debris of which we can see now. It's an extremely unsafe place. I can't even use my main systems, only the built-in processor, which is perfectly protected from power surges, but is not able to count to 10 without errors. It reminds me of old space stations that were used about 50 years ago for communication between planets. Besides, some components were produced at Breathedge Agency factories for sure. A simple replacement for a stool. I have no idea how they got into the closed system of the aquarium, but there are no more fish here. If I were to design a trash can, everything would have fit in it. These rooms look like someone's shelter, but it has had no occupants for a long time. A detailed plan of the habitation module. Cause of death was a blunt injury to the head about 30 years ago. The body mummified due to the sterility of the environment. One of the first prototypes of the Breathedge Agency spacesuit without any artificial intelligence. A useless item. You could make a... This is a photo of the young founders of the Breathedge Agency, the founder of the agency and the leading designer together at a conference in 2017. There's no such design in my catalogs. Now this is something interesting. It's worth taking a closer look. There are some undeclared functions. Protection increase protocol activated. The threshold of radiation resistance has increased. So you're saying we could have done this from the start? We can assume that this station was some experiment of the Breathedge Funeral Agency, but the lack of any information about it, as well as the dead crew member, can lead us to think that this was probably illegal. On behalf of the funeral agency, I apologize for your possible complicity in the illegal activities of our company. A number of random objects. There's no logical connection. Analysis required. The standard funerary set doesn't include such a... Now it's clear how to pass the medical checkup. On such old docking airlocks, there must be some detailed information on great idea. In addition to good speed, your magnificent transportation is vibrating so hard that by the divergent waves it produces, I can calculate the nearest obstacles and project them on your helmet screen. Nothing of interest. I am not sure about the composition of modern MAYO products, and therefore I advise you to be careful. Their current physical properties are unknown. A large part of the mayonnaise is frozen, but there is some strange activity in some of the balls, if it really is MAYO, as indicated in the invoices. Looks like the MAYO tanks weren't only on the port side. There's a chance to find something here that can be launched into the core. Someone tried to take a bath in a drinking boiler without reading about the emergency water pumping system starting when waste gets into it. Both were sucked in to death. The water contains alkaline detergents and aromatic salts. Can't be cleaned. I've no idea who would need that amount of MAYO in space, but we need to find a way to get this whole thing into the liner's core to reduce its activity. Nothing of interest.
This is working autonomous oxygen station.
The victim may have tried to press the barbell with his Adam's apple, but this presumption may not be accurate. 16 kilograms of metal that never became the ship's plating. Solids detected. A very odd composition, but apparently this MAYO doesn't want to freeze. There's also no danger to the spacesuit's material, but I'm not sure it's reasonable to stay here with such visibility. In addition, the composition's density prevents you from moving quickly. There must be some control systems inside. If the airlock isn't damaged, then we need to find it. Get into the tank, start the engine, somehow leave before it starts, and hope that when flying away, the tank will collect at least some part of the flowing spilled MAYO. Someone clearly overestimated the value of the mayonnaise, allocating an autonomous tank for it equipped with an auto-flight system. Although considering our situation, it's a great opportunity to launch it without any problems by fixing one of the engines and disengaging the tank from the module. Solids detected. I hope we won't need that. Small modern engines can do without burning fuel, which is much safer. Nothing of interest. Seems that detaching the bracket without getting your hands as well as other parts of your body dirty will be impossible. You can try to repair the bracket, but since you will destroy it during the repair process, it will be easier to break it beforehand. These are the brackets mounting the tank to the module. You better find them all and detach them before you start, or at best, all this debris will spin and be torn apart with the tank right here. Brackets mounting the tank to the module. You'd better find them all and detach them before you start, or at best, all this debris will spin and be torn apart with the tank right here. Looks like there was a fight here. Judging by the tracks, two attackers knocked their opponent to the ground and tried kicking him for a long time, after which the victim died of old age, as the attackers missed every time. After looking through the technical support application statistics, the agency decided to deal with the linearity of jokes in their spacesuits. Now you can always choose Joke 1 or Joke 2 if you buy a special Breathedge 2-button gamepad. engine is installed, now the tank will probably be able to fly. An airlock. Seems to be intact. Seems like the gas coming into the MAYO doesn't let it freeze. I have a feeling that something is wrong with this mayonnaise. Apart from the inconsistency of its composition, overly complex technologies are used to transport such biological debris. Although, all the tanks are specified as mayonnaise ones in all the invoices related to the liner. This vacuum cleaner is called Rocket for a reason. With it having such a powerful engine, it is really possible to fly it if you bypass some technical limitations. Unbelievable. This is heaven knows what, but it's certainly not a simple tank for storing food products. A detailed plan of the transport module. A special patch and a bloated spacesuit indicating increased gas production due to excessive broccoli eating. All this points out that the body belongs to the Green Universe Radical Group. If the possible moral constraints are no problem, this bag of methane, hydrogen, and organic residues can... The data analysis on the crash of the liner and the nature of the damage allows us to state with great confidence that the damage caused to the MAYO tanks by the abruptly stopped centrifuge was one of the causes of the liner's depressurization and its ejection from the warp. These data confirm the possible involvement of the Green Universe in the disaster. Despite the fact that the task involved pumping out gas to create a miniature engine with an igniter, all data indicate that the mayonnaise is not mayonnaise, and the tank was an integral part of the systems of the liner unnamed. We have to start the centrifuge, even just out of scientific interest. Something went wrong. On the one hand, this is bad news. On the other hand, you're still not flying directly into the core, and it's good, but I advise you to get out of here as soon as possible. Yep, go up there, through the tube. If the core was damaged and the MAYO from the central cooling circuit was thrown into space, then we can use the same way for evacuation. Your incredible dexterity, together with incredible luck and incredibly linear strength, works wonders. In any case, there's a decrease in the core's activity. If nothing explodes there in the next couple of minutes, then the task can be considered completed. I can't say for sure, but apparently it was a backup power cell of the newest nuclear warp installation in the core of the liner. What we have seen is one of the most protected government secrets, and the presence of a Green Universe Radical there confirms their involvement in the catastrophe. The cost of Breathedge agency funerals is the lowest on the market of funeral services. However, some people still prefer to bury their relatives in a slipshod manner. The service post. About 2 meters of high-strength alloy and no breaches in the security system. The object is classified, but I managed to download some information from the captain's bridge. You can remotely access the liner's core from here. This would be extremely useful. However, it is impossible to get inside unless you have an anti-armor weapon. Docking gates. These are obsolete, although they come in quite handy in case of emergency evacuation. somewhere near. Turret detected.
This is working autonomous oxygen station.
This is Knight Errant, the main weapon of the liner unnamed. It was meant to be used only in cases of emergency when the liner was attacked from the outside. Who would attack it, and what makes Knight Errant different from other turrets? The journalists didn't get a clear answer. It looks like Knight Errant's manual control panel. It's used in case of remote control system failure. Getting here from inside the liner was impossible, therefore it wasn't fortified much. There are no data about the discharge cells or any modern particle beam weapon in general, but according to the blueprint, it's somewhere inside the gun's barrel. I don't think you should poke your nose in there. If the gun doesn't work, it doesn't mean you can poke your head right into its barrel, although apparently these are the discharge cells. It's unlike got one. Second discharge cell installed. I hope it doesn't start firing right away once you fixed it. Only one left. Turret nearby. And we're done. I might be wrong, but is Knight Errant preparing to shoot? No, it's not. But I'm starting to understand why you repaired this weapon. I'd like to warn you that shooting from it is pure madness. Therefore, I strongly recommend not to come near Knight Errant's manual control panel, take the joystick in your hand, direct the weapon in the debris, and press the fire button. Yes, I had exactly the same idea. Knight Errant must break through the airlock's armor, damaging the latching mechanism. Try aiming and shooting at the lower latch so as not to damage the module. Seems like you only have one shot before the weapon's batteries go completely flat. Knight Errant is in running order. Fire! I'm not sure this is a good time to comment, but the shot didn't go well. Although you did damage the armor for sure, together with half the equipment. An armored airlock with complex entry control system. The system was so complex that it was the first one to fail. However, this doesn't prevent the door from remaining armored. We won't find any other way into the module anyway. With such damage, we won't be able to control the core remotely, but we can use the core protection protocol and open additional cooling valves in the liner. For that, find the central panel and try to guess the 9-digit password. A detailed plan of the habitation module. Most likely the passenger died because of a harmless toy that clogged the air outflow. Sometimes a dust collector is still worth cleaning, although this leads to interesting design solutions. A detailed plan of the service module. Automatic maintenance team. I wouldn't touch them unless necessary. This must be the central panel. Someone liked to break lamps because it doesn't look a bit like repair work. On the first try. That was easy.
You unable to lie. You could not just do something and not break something. Tell truth. Confirm.
I suspect that the panel is a bit out of order, but judging by the sensors, an undocumented passage was hidden under it. There's no information about these rooms. Something happened here, although you've probably already noticed it. The remains of a military blaster. Civilians don't have access to such. Looks like you're not the only one who's fond of destroying important equipment. Now I can't even connect to this panel. What's left now is to break the rest of the stuff around here, and there's a chance that this will activate some core protection protocol. Or, alternatively, kill someone in this room. It's definitely one of the Breathedge agency coffins, but its ID is missing in my database. The cause of death is a blunt injury to the head. Activity detected. It looks like you were able to start the protection protocol, although the ship's documentation So it's not the size. It looks like we totally passed. The sensors detect a significant decrease in radiation. Unfortunately, so much debris got into the core that we now have even less time before it destabilizes. I recommend exploring new areas in search of means to survive and return to the inhabited sectors of space. By the way, did you notice that you've passed the third chapter? I think I forgot to display the text about it. Unfortunately, it's still impossible to track the location of your interlocutor. If some kind of script doesn't trigger here right now, we'll be stuck here for a long time. We cannot deny the fact that Green Universe was involved in the crash of the liner, but some details in their behavior and death don't correspond to the modus operandi. But I think Chapter 4 started quite a while ago, didn't it? Seems like you did something wrong, as always. I suggest you start a new game and try again. Come to think of it, forget it. Judging by the analysis of my sensors, the launch mayonnaise was completely absorbed by the core and destabilized it. The radiation level decreased to a critical minimum. It's time to visit Normandy before it's too late.
According to my calculations, the next decrease in the radiation level will occur in 17 hours when the shell of the core overheats. The decrease in the radiation level will be significant, and it will last from 3 to 10 seconds, after which the explosion will follow, splitting us into atoms. With this in mind, it's highly recommended that you hurry. If I'm not mistaken, there's an accelerating transport station ahead. Apparently, they plan to use it for the evacuation of Normandy, although it's hardly possible to do that. These stations help small spaceships gain initial acceleration when departing from the liner, but they are of no use for long-distance flights. There's just one question that tickles my mind. Why are there so many damaged coffins? Aside from that, these coffins have limbs, weapons, and undoubtedly, active AI units, judging by the weak signals coming from their remains. To be honest, I'd rather not know what all of this means. It seems that the Normandy team died heroically fighting with coffins, which goes beyond any and all logic. On the other hand, the fact that should work, I hope. You already repaired such an engine once, but it looked different somehow. We can't do without some repair. Most of the ship's systems are functioning nominally, but it will take a little effort if we are going to fly away from here. The steering steering wheel is broken, but the rest is in order. Judging by the traces of the struggle, she was a real warrior and a professional, one of the strongest in the team of Normandy, a real hero. It's unbelievable that in our time of gender inequality, a woman can single-handedly... This is real gold. Judging by the inventory number, this is the coffin of one of the leaders of the party. However, the leader is nowhere to be seen. It seems that apart from aggressive armed coffins, we also have traces of corruption in the party. It seems that the deceased was in a hurry and tried to neutralize a coffin filled with buckwheat. It doesn't look like explosive weaponry. However, seems like someone was smuggling grain. It definitely didn't thrust into here by itself. It's unlikely that all these robots appeared here by accident. Judging by the makeup stains on the wall, we can estimate the approximate flight speed of the deceased female, or to be more exact, the deceased male, which is a bit strange. That's great. It looks perfect. Almost done. Great job. Unfortunately, the station's control units are still broken, but the good news is that you don't need them to launch Normandy at all. I just wanted to keep you busy while I was doing some important calculations. Please note, the coffin is almost intact. Maybe we can fiddle with it a bit. This is the Normandy autopilot course. We can't change it without a living captain in any way, not even with a handy scrapper. However, it's highly unlikely that the captain calculated such a complex route for no particular reason, so we'd better not touch it at all. I need some time for analysis.